Welcome back. I'm Bree Payton in for Liz Wheeler. Another day, another example of federal overreach. The Food and Drug Administration went after an Amish man for using homemade labels on his herbal skin remedies. Samuel Giroud of Kentucky, who is a father to 12 and grandfather to 25, has been sentenced to 6 years in federal prison and must pay over $15,000 in fines and restitutions. With me now to break it all down is editor-in-chief of Ricochet.com, John Gabriel. John, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks.
So, okay, John, maybe you can tell me if I missed something here, but what exactly did this Amish farmer do wrong to result in a 6-year prison sentence?
He basically sold these old-timey medicines, home treatment, things that the Amish have been using for hundreds of years. And since other people wanted it, he said, okay, I guess I'll sell some of these after his friends asked him to. And because his labels didn't have the 8,000 words of ingredients and rules and regulations from the FDA, they came down on him hard. One of them was a chickweed salve, and it was a combination of chickweed with a few other ingredients. The FDA said, well, this is a bad thing because chickweed can be caustic. What it's used to do is basically remove dead skin, so of course it's caustic. But he had put on there it can help out with tumors and skin cancers amid a list of other things that the Amish have been using this stuff for again, centuries. And the FDA decided, this is a drug, you're trying to push drugs, and you're a dangerous fugitive. They ended up going to his barn and basically arresting him and dragging him to court and holding him without bail while he could await trial because of a label. He actually changed the label to remove the offending language. That wasn't enough. And in his favor, he said, this is an herbal remedy like you can get anywhere else at any kind of a health store. And they said, no, it's a drug because you made medical claims about it. So once again, just picking out a random citizen for not bowing the knee to the state, and 6 years in prison, $14,000 fine, and on and on and on. And they were bragging about how lenient they were with him, by the way, because, put you in prison for much longer, sir.
Oh my gosh. I mean, do you think that this really has anything to do with the FDA trying to protect the public? Or is it really just, as you said a second ago, that he wasn't willing to, bow down and kiss the feet of the FDA? I mean, was he even harming anyone with these herbal remedies? Was there anyone who said, oh, you killed me with this solution that I put on my rough patches on my elbows?
Right. There was not one person who was injured by his products at all. He had another one as well. That was just another herbal preparation. They decided to throw that in there, too, because he said it might help your life, essentially. But no, not a single American was hurt by this, or anyone abroad, let me add. And basically, this is what it is. The bureaucracy wants to protect its own power. And what you have again and again, we've seen, and this, of course, started during the Obama era, and we're hoping that we can get rid of some of these ridiculous regulations and red tape that are binding people. But basically, you have a member of his community trying to help other members of his community with this old-fashioned remedy that nobody's had a problem with until basically a couple of years ago.
Right. And as you said, this kind of behavior from the FDA really isn't unique at all. Starting during the Obama era, they started to treat salt like it was a toxic chemical and tried to put these guidelines on food manufacturers. Why? And then, okay, there was a study recently that the Boston University School of Medicine just released in April saying that they're not even sure that reducing your sodium intake has any cause or correlation, with a lower blood pressure. So why do bureaucrats insist on being treated like these omniscient superpower demigods when half the time they're wrong?
It's almost like the less power people have, the more proud they are of that power. Kind of like you always have the HOA dude driving in her neighborhood with a golf cart. Oh my gosh, that person has weed. I'm going to put the hammer down on this person. And instead of the federal government focusing on minor things like terrorism and so forth, instead they go after these silly rules. And this is why the government needs to be out of it. We've all seen the nutrition pyramid that they have to revise every few years because it's so incorrect. And basically, the people who end up writing it are lobbyists from all over, trying to protect their product versus that other product. And yeah, once again, salt. Our entire lives, we've been told, oh, it's going to kill you. You've got to get salt out of your diet. And just my personal experience, if I'm the day before weigh-in, I avoid salt because I don't want to gain half a pound, and that's about it. So it does not affect most people. Certain people are susceptible to salt causing high blood pressure, at least as far as they can figure out. They aren't even sure about that. But it's an infinitesimal part of the population that they're trying to protect from themselves. And government just needs to back off, because Americans are smart enough to know how much salt we should put on our food. If we should get an extra donut at Dunkin' Donuts, it's called freedom.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, is this something that the FDA should be doing? I guess, how do we push back and get the Trump administration to pay attention to these dumb regulations that are literally jailing people over nothing?
One good thing that I've seen, when I wrote an article about this Amish farmer who's at this case, it was just amazing on Twitter and Facebook to see how many people just shared it directly to Donald Trump because people have a connection to him. And I'm sure he is hearing from people all over in Congress. I know Thomas Massey, who's a congressman. He's not this farmer's congressman, but he is in Kentucky where this man lives. And I know he has raised a stink about it as well. So these people are hearing from their constituents about how ridiculous it is. This Amish farmer, in this case, Samuel, he was supported by his sheriff, by his entire community. All these non-Amish people are saying, well, what are you people doing? These people have lived peacefully with us for centuries. And now you just want to basically regulate them out of existence so they don't vary from, they don't bow the knee to almighty government. And they answer to us higher authority.
Yeah. John, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for taking the time.